Lagers, Pilsners, India Pale Ales, double IPAs, Doppelbocks, Belgian Goldens. That's right, it's all here on another round of Brewsday Tuesday. Here's DreZ and Big Nate.
I'm a little worried about this one. I'll tell you why after I hopefully. Okay. All right. So it is Brewsday Tuesday. These beers traveled all the way from Costa Maya, Mexico. These were all from the same place. I just went through and looked for all the cervezas that maybe I haven't had before and did manage to find 4. So this was the Bohemia Cerveza El Dorado con Argula. I'm sorry for anybody that's Spanish, that whatever. It says Cristal, Cerveza Clara, 4.5%. So I'm moving up to the big stuff here.
Big boy.
This is a big boy.
Careful.
So the reason I was worried about this one was, if I remember correctly, when I was getting the beers, they had all of them sitting out like on the counter. And then they had a cooler. So usually they'd go grab to the cooler, but obviously I was drinking these there. I did drink one there, but I was like, these are to go. Like, so I want them. And what fuego, right? Warm, I think, was what we figured out how to say, I don't want it cold. I want it warm. And she went in the back and got all the other ones, but then this one she didn't have. So she gave me the one that was sitting on the counter in probably direct sunlight for I don't know how many days. So I'm sure this is going to be phenomenal.
Oh boy,
we'll see.
What is it? The
Bohemia Cristal.
I've got the Cerveza. I can't roll my R's. Barrilito. It's a double R. So just imagine that I rolled the R there. 3.4 ABV. And something of note here on the side. There's a little, if you're watching on the video, I'll let you see it. But
so is that the lightest beer of the day, or the Superior? Did it even have one on there?
The Superior was 4.8, I think.
No, 3.8 was the one that I had.
That might be 4.5 then.
4.1.
4.1.
Or comma 1.
Comma, yeah, that's right. They don't have periods there.
No.
There is something here on the side. It says, it looks like it says Modelo Amigo. So you think maybe it's a collaboration with Modelo, but there's a little symbol here that I thought was a misprint. No, it's G Modelo Amigo. They're clearly just trying to convince you that they're Modelo.
Fake out. So oh, they're doing the next door. Okay, cool. So yeah, so as I mentioned, we went to 2 stops in Mexico. The first of which was Cozumel, which maybe I feel like people would be more familiar with that one. That was one that I had heard of before. I guess it's more of a touristy island, if you will. Now, here's the thing. So we were there because they changed the itinerary on us. They're like, okay, well, we'll be in Cozumel. Usually you got to be back on the boat by like 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever. They're like, you have till 1 a.m. in Cozumel because we have all day here, because tomorrow we're just going to be at sea all day. So I was like, okay, so that's cool. We got more time.
That is really cool.
Problem is,
Cozumel shuts down at 10.
No. The reason why we had more time was because of the storm. So basically, at Cozumel, the wind was outrageous, like crazy outrageous. We're walking up, and basically, if you've never been on a cruise ship, there's like the ports, and usually there's just tons of shopping and a couple like in bars and stuff. And then you get through all that crap. It's usually a maze to find your way out because they really want you to stay there, spend all your money, whatever, and then you can try and get out to the city. So there's a Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville right there at the port.
Naturally.
And we're walking up. This is actually
Chili's beside it.
We actually went for a run real quick. First thing we did was we did like a 5.5 mile run. And then we came back on the ship, showered, and then went back out. And as we were heading back in, the wind was getting so bad that the waves were really picking up and splashing harder and harder up against the wall at this port. And the Margaritaville was right there next to it. And you see these waves just getting bigger and bigger. And then eventually, sure enough, people, they had all sorts of outdoor
Yeah.
seating and stuff. People were moving back because they were splashing up. Then finally, there was this wave that was so huge, it shot up and got like onto the roof. And it was that kind of tiki bar kind of roof made from like palm leaves or whatever. So like that was like pieces of that was falling out. You just heard all these people just be like, like scream because they just got soaked. Like it was insane. People were just taking video of how wild it was.
You're standing there laughing. These dumb tourists.
Yeah.
You can go to Margaritaville in the States.
Well, so the actual city, like kind of, I guess, downtown Cozumel was like about a 3-mile walk from the port. So we're like, all right, well, we'll just walk. We didn't realize we were going to be walking through this crazy wind. And yeah, we even got splashed by water too, because, a lot of it was by, the bay there or whatever. So we're walking. It's just crazy windy. The main thing I wanted to go there for was I did find a brewery. It was not what I expected. It was basically a dive bar that brews a couple beers. I should look up what the name of it was. It started with a K, but basically I went in there. They had 4 beers. I got the IPA, which I should have remembered and known that I should never get the IPA in a different country because we have a whole different standard and stuff.
States
here,
IPA, the best IPA.
That was a mistake, number one, but it was just like a small little hole in the bar dive bar. There was one guy there when we arrived. I mean, but then it was just us and the dude behind the bar. And it was, I don't know. I got to get a check-in, so that was nice, but no beers to go from there, unfortunately. But then the main thing that BB wanted was ceviche. Ceviche, whatever. So I found a spot that has good ceviche. So we went there and got that, as well as some cervezas and whatnot. But the other thing was, as you mentioned, it's a very touristy area. So lots of shops, lots of people trying to sell stuff. And I wasn't really, we don't need any more crap or tat, as BB calls it, just like touristy crap. But I did see all these sombreros. And I remembered on my, my canoe trip where you just feed off of, you can only eat what you catch. My buddy had to let me borrow his he had 2 of those sort of like sombrero type hats, a fishing hat, because you want something like that when you're on the river all day. So I was like, oh, maybe I should buy one of these. And I saw that they had like sport ones, like football teams. And I was like, oh man, if I could find a Redskins one. That was a pretty tall order, I didn't realize, because I guess they haven't been the Redskins for so long. They didn't have any Commanders ones, of course. So after going to and looking, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 different ones, asking people, you ask the people, they look, and then they're like, hold on, un momento. And then they go to other shops nearby to ask if they, and then it was funny. One guy was even just like, his reaction was so good. I was like, Redskins? He was like, oh, no Redskins. But then finally, we walk into one, same thing. And the guy was just like, he's like, oh, go in the store. Give it 5 minutes, I'll come back. I'm like, oh, great. Now we got to wait in the store. This guy's not even going to come back with it. But no joke, 90 seconds later, I got my new fishing hat. My new fishing sombrero. Check that out, bad boy. Yeah. So, I don't know if I'll be able to wear this with the headphones, but
hey,
it looks good, doesn't it?
It looks.
I can't wear it, unfortunately. The headphones won't allow it. But my hair looks good now.
And she let you like bring this home.
Well, no, I mean, I'm pretty sure
does that live here in the studio now?
She assumes that it's only for once a year on this canoe trip that I'm going to get to wear it. Although we do like to float the river, and I feel like that could be just my river hat.
I think that's a fantastic river hat. It looks like the brim.
The brim is sweet.
It looks like it's like the same fabric as like a pennant.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and you got the nice big patch there. So I was pretty pleased with this purchase.
You may have gotten the last one they had and
Might have been.
Does it have a tag that says where it was made?
No, but I'm sure it's probably China. If I had to guess.
No, it would drive me absolutely bananas if I went to Mexico and got something made in China.
Yeah, no tags. Not that I can see, but
All right, so
that was
we'll
Cozumel.
hold on to the illusion that it was made there.
Yeah, yeah. So that was Cozumel. The other place was Costa Maya, and we did have that was the only excursion that we still had booked because our Honduras one got canceled. So if you didn't know, this area is where there's a lot of Mayan ruins. So we did get to go see some Mayan ruins. It started with a C, Cacuchco, I don't know, something like that. But it's pretty crazy, man, that these Mayans had all this stuff built. And basically, it's just all these like towers kind of things. And I guess they, would bury their dead in it and everything. And I don't know, just a lot of history. And this is from like circa, what was he saying? 200 BC,
Yeah,
300 BC, something like that. So thousands of years ago. And this stuff's still standing, which is just
It's wild.
mind-boggling. Yeah, it's pretty wild. But really the highlight of that excursion, and BB thought that maybe we got upgraded or something or on the wrong tour, but I do seem to remember this. But there was also included in going to the Mayan thing was lunch, and it was like an authentic Mayan meal that these nice little 4-foot ladies, Mexican / Mayan lineage ladies were cooking for us, and it was phenomenal.
They take it
was
very
awesome.
seriously. Like the Mayans that still remain, the people who have that bloodline. Like, I mean, you'll find the same thing with indigenous people here in the States, but they take it very seriously, and it's phenomenal. Some of the stuff that, like, I mean, it's been, like you said, it's been going on. They've been cooking that way for thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Yeah, it's wild. And our tour guide was super knowledgeable. I mean, like, it was amazing, all the wealth of knowledge and stuff that he was hitting us with. But yeah, it was really cool to sit down and have that meal. And also they actually let us cook and make our own little mini tortilla things. And then he made this, you're talking about that salsa. He had this sauce that was the main thing that I was surprised that he put in it was like ground up pumpkin seeds with some flavor that I had in there. I was like, oh, it was really good because I do like me some pumpkin seeds. So
I like pumpkin seeds.
But then the meal had like it was chicken and beans and tostadas, I believe. I don't know. It was really good. And this awesome what was it, hibiscus tea that was really, really delicious. That, I don't know. It was a nice surprise and it was delicious. And then and at that point is when, we were sitting down and having a meal with all the people that were on the excursion with us. And that's when you started to get to know and meet the people that were on the trip with you. And then the ride back, the hour and a half ride back or whatever, then we were chatting with some of the other people on the ride back, which was nice. So, because on the ride down, it was just the guy on a speaker just blasting us with all this knowledge of history and all this stuff. So it was pretty entertaining. It was very interesting. And then I will say this, the port at Costa Maya was very nice. They had like a, I don't know, a dolphin enclosement where you could swim with dolphins. They had all these flamingos walking around and one of those like a wave kind of thing where you could get up there on a boogie board and try and surf and stuff. Like it was a lot. So, but I just was mainly focusing on getting beer, which I did manage to do that. So that was good. So yeah, that was Mexico. A couple stops there. It was pretty good.
I'm very envious. That's the one place I said if I left the country, I would love to go to Mexico. And purely, I mean, it's not because of the beer. It's definitely the food. There's so much richness to all the things they've contributed, and it's easily. I would love to just go do a food tour of Mexico.
Well, that was the weird thing, is because, like, yeah, I mean, that would be a better way to do it, a food tour of Mexico. So with the cruise ship,
you're right there.
Paid for all. It's all included. You already paid for your food, so it's like, oh, I'm going to go off and spend more money on food. But that's why it was cool to do the really authentic, Mayan cuisine. And then the ceviche, like that, they're not offering that on the ship, at least not that we found. So that was just a nice little treat and just something to get, and also keep drinking and stuff while we were there. Otherwise, I don't think trying to remember if we ate. Oh yeah, we did. I'll say that for the next show. So the next show I brought back, because the only other place we went was Belize, but luckily I did find some Belize beers to bring back, as well as some stories.
Oh.
I don't want to give too much away, but
little tease.
yeah, it was
Tease for Belize.
Belize was the highlight of the cruise, I would say, for sure. So there was a lot of cool stuff that came out of that trip, and I'll save that for next week.
I look forward to hearing
I do got some beers to drink for that. In the meantime, how is your cerveza treating you? This one, all I remember is that you said it has double R's. I don't remember what that one was called.
Cerveza Barrilito.
Barrilito.
3.4 ABV. It by definition is in fact a beer, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not great.
Yeah.
2.5.
Fair enough. Yeah. This, as I was afraid of, at least the smell of this Bohemia, I was very worried. But I'm just drinking it because that's what I'm gonna do. It's beer that traveled a long way, and I brought it for the show.
I mean, this one's almost like beer flavored seltzer.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not complaining, but again, I'm not amazed. I did like that this one has like a wool warrior on it. That made me think of like the Mayans a bit.
That one wins best label of the day.
Yes, I would say so. But still nothing great. I'm just going to give it a 3, and we'll move on to the Belize beer next week. So that's a wrap on Brewsday Tuesday. I've been rambling a lot, so that's also a wrap with my show. We will take a quick break, and then we'll get back with the tunes. Just tunes coming up next right here on 105.3 The Bear. Stick around.